Hello and welcome back into the Lions247 Podcast. I am Sean Fitz coming at you with another special edition during the bye week. Earlier this week, we had Lamont Payne, 2023 cornerback commit from Western Pennsylvania. Had a little bit from Brian Doan this week on recruiting. Now we bring in a very special guest, a guy that I've been hoping to get on the show for a long time, and I think a guy that agreed to do this even well before that. But Penn State commit Dani Dennis-Sutton, one of the biggest players in the Nittany Lions class of 2022. He's been a top target from the jump here, and he's been a guy that Penn State fans have really gotten to know. Dani, thanks for coming on and speaking with us today.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man.
Hey, we've got a lot to talk about here. Your recruitment was, back and forth. I think you took an Alabama visit, you took a Georgia visit, you took a Penn State visit. That is one thing that was, I think, had Penn State fans, I know, back and forth, just churning, going through that roller coaster over and over again. What did you see through the process that just made it really eye-opening for you? I know Penn State has been on you for a long time, but what about this process was really something that changed your outlook on your recruiting, and how'd you land with Penn State in the end?
So, I mean, I took all my visits, 3 weeks back to back. I tried to go into each visit pretty open-minded. That's a little bit hard when like I said, you taking them back to back, you trying to compare them. But I did try going to all the visits open-minded, and then after those 3 weeks of taking the visits, I just wrote down, pluses and minuses for each school. And that could have been location, that could have been, relationship with the coaches, relationship with the players, how they produce their players, all those things. And all those schools are great schools. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with Alabama, Georgia, or Penn State. So, man, I just took all the schools for what they were. And then I ultimately came down and chose Penn State. Me and my family, we thought that was best. And like you said, they've been there the longest and have everything that I really want.
Now it was a strange process, a strange time in the recruiting world. You couldn't visit anywhere for the longest time, and then all of a sudden you had those visits kind of dumped on you in June. What was that like, and how tired of you? I think I spoke to you after, was it the Penn State visit or maybe the Alabama visit? How tired of you were recruiting by then?
Talking to the coaches is online and virtual and stuff, you only get so much, but when you get to actually see them in person and see, how they talk to their players, how they treat the players and stuff like that, it's a great time. But yeah, I was a little tired. There's a lot of traveling, a lot of, walk around campuses and stuff like that. But like I said, I enjoyed it, man. It was a great time.
What put Penn State over the top for you?
I mean, honestly, it was just the way they produced their players. Me and my mom and, my father as well, we talked about it. All those schools are great academically, great location of schools. But the biggest thing for me and, my family, we ultimately decided that we want to get to the next level. We have to go to a school that's going to produce players at my position and have a history of producing players at my position. And Penn State was that ultimate choice. And I got trust in Coach Franklin and trust in Coach Scott and all their staff really to prepare me and get me to the next level.
Who was the one do you think that hammered that home? Because you're talking about player development, but you're also talking about Alabama, Georgia. These guys put pros into the league every year, Penn State as well. But it's really tough to differentiate yourself from that group. And who was it at Penn State that really, sold you on that? Was that Scott? Was that any of those other defensive coaches or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, it was Scott. Obviously, he told me, just, not in a cocky way, but just look at my history. He told me, look at my resume. He puts out guys every year. Deion Barnes, he knows what he's talking about. We've done multiple Zooms and stuff, and he showed me what they do in practice, and I went to see their practices and stuff like that. So, both of them guys, and obviously Coach Franklin, he takes it deeper than football, but he also tells me and shows me, we put guys out in the draft, Micah Parsons and Jason Oweh this past year. I mean, possibly the two biggest draft prospects or whatever, and they killed the draft. So it's a whole recruiting staff, but they also take it deeper than football, which I love as well.
What's that McDonough connection like? Obviously, Penn State has had some success there with Curtis and with PJ and Devon. What was how much did that play into it? And did that kind of set the table for them having the lead going into all these visits because of the familiarity that you have with those guys?
I would say it gave them a little bit of an advantage. But those guys, they're really my brothers, and they really cherish what's best for me. Every time I went up there, they showed me everything. They told me what it really was, but they also said, "Bro, make the best decision for you and your family." So I really respect that, and I really appreciate that, or appreciate them for doing that. But yeah, I would say it did give them a little bit of advantage. Familiar faces going up there, not brand new school per se. I've been up there multiple times. I've probably been up there 6, 7 times compared to the other places. I've only been one time. So I would say it gave them a little bit of advantage. But like I said, Curtis and Devon and PJ, they all told me to just do what's best for you, man. And I think Penn State was the best place for me.
This can be a weird question, but did that work against Penn State at all since you had been up there 6 or 7 times? You only went to Georgia once, you only went to Alabama once. So things a little bit newer, a little bit flashy, don't know what to expect, and that kind of sits there. Do you think that Penn State had to overcome anything like that?
I wouldn't say so. I would say if anything, it gave me, uh, more of a home type of feeling because I've been there. I know where the gym is. I know where the stadium is, versus going to a place where I don't know where anything is. I'm just basing, where I'm going off of my, the guy who I'm following or the coaches. Versus Penn State, I can walk around. I know where I'm at a little bit. I know where the hotel is. Stuff like that. It gave me more of a familiar type of, vibe, I guess you could say.
How was that conversation with Franklin, with whomever you spoke to? I know you did it with us on CBS, but how was that conversation? Just telling them the actual decision rather than having them watch it on TV or whatever.
Man, they were all excited. It was Coach Franklin, Coach Scott. I think it was actually all of the Penn State people on one Zoom, and I told them, man, they were excited, man. They telling me, can't wait to work with me and stuff. So it was a very exciting moment. Big relief for me and my family. Obviously getting blown up every single day. It's fun at first. It's a dream that a lot of kids would want, but after a while, it can get annoying, and can get bothersome. So it was a big relief for me and my family in Penn State. They're excited for me to get up there.
I often asked about telling the coaching staff or telling the guy that you've been in touch with the most. What's that like? I know this is very special for you. What's it like telling your mom where you're going? And that's got to be something, a different kind of conversation.
Yeah, nah, she just broke down, man. It was a big accomplishment for her. She tells all her friends every time, freshman year, sophomore year, when I was getting any offers, she would tell her friends. And you could just see how happy she was of me. And she made a lot of sacrifices for me to get to where I'm at today. So, me telling her, and she was also a part of it, obviously. So she kind of knew where we were going. But me telling her, "Hey, mom, I think this is the best place for me." She was excited, man. We talked about it, days and weeks after. And she's just proud of me. She tells me the same thing that my brothers tell me, "Son, do what's best for you, and I'm going to support you either way." So it was a very achieving moment for me.
You've had a weird high school career, did not have a junior season because of COVID last year. You guys opted not to play in the spring. What's it like sort of fracturing your career up like that? A great start as a sophomore, came back this fall, dislocated the elbow. How's the first off, how's the elbow doing? And number two, how is handling this, getting back into football and actually playing football going for you?
Yeah, man. Elbow's pretty much 100% right now. Full extension, full flexion of the elbow. So that's a blessing, man. But yeah, it's good to get out there. It's good to be back out there. Right now, things obviously aren't going the way we wanted to. In the beginning of the season, right now we're like 2-4. So it's not the best start. But hopefully we can finish strong. But yeah, man, it's definitely been a unfortunate and not the way we planned season with me dislocating my elbow in my first scrimmage and stuff. So I was a little down at times, and like I said, it's just not what we wanted. Obviously, nobody wants to be injured, but We didn't play last year, so that felt like it was like, why me? Anybody else who played last year got a season to play, but I didn't even get the chance to play last year. So it's not going the way we wanted. And then, with my team, we're not as deep as we thought we were going to be as well. So I'm going to have to play a lot inside, more inside than I thought I would have to. But right now I just got to do what I can for the team, and hopefully we can push through and start winning some more games.
You throw those highlights on, it looks like you're enjoying yourself out there. It looks like you're happy to be back and running around out playing. You're playing on the edge, you're playing inside, but it's just nice to be playing, huh?
Yeah, it's great to be playing, man. Great to be out there with my guys. My last year, so now I know how Curtis and Devon felt their senior year, man, when they said, man, just enjoy it and enjoy every time you're out there. So now I'm here in this position. I'm just trying to share that moment with the younger guys like Mason, Tripp, Tamaris Walker, all them young guys, and tell them, man, just enjoy it because it's going to fly by.
You got quite a bit of talent there on that roster below you as well. Looking at Penn State this year, I know you've been up for I believe one game so far. What have you seen from Penn State? Obviously, the 5-1 start's pretty good. What have you seen from that defensive line, and how you feeling about your decision after watching those guys like Arnold Ebiketie play this year?
Yeah, man. So I went up to the Auburn game. Obviously, great atmosphere, great game. We put the beating on Auburn, I would say. I had a lot of people coming to me talking about Auburn, man. Auburn gonna beat y'all, this, that, and the third. So I'm glad we won that one. And I've been watching every game on Saturdays. So we've been looking good. And this past week when we played Iowa, man, it was a tough one, man. I think we could have pulled it out if some things didn't go the way they went. But I'm still proud of my boys. I talked to PJ and Devon, make sure they were straight. Because I seen PJ went down and Devon had a little injury, so I had to check up on them and make sure they were, all good. But yeah, man, that D-line has been killing, especially with PJ, alumni of McDonough, and then Arnold, AK, the defensive end. He's been killing, man. And Lucetta, all them guys, they just been doing a great job, man. And I've been watching them, studying them. And just taking what I can from them because they've definitely been doing their thing out there on the field. And it just goes to speak for John Scott and Deion Barnes, all them guys. They, nobody thought Lucetta was going to be playing on the end. And, we didn't know what AK was going to bring. And, they're killing it right now.
Watching what you're watching, you think you can fit in there and get there? I know this is something you've talked about before, playing early at Penn State. Is that a group that you can see yourself fitting in with?
Definitely, man. Definitely. I fit really well with them guys. I fit in that defensive scheme, I believe. And I can't wait to get up there.
You've got an interesting approach here. Doan and I were just talking about it. You're one of the only guys that has asked us to put your Instagram name, your Twitter name into stories and things like that. Obviously, building your brand, name, image, and likeness, and all that stuff. What's your approach for that as a prospect who knows what can be waiting for him at the next level at that from that name, image, and likeness? How important is it for you to build your brand? We've got your Instagram, you've got your Twitter there. Here, you're a new TikTok star as well. How important is it for you to build that brand before you get to college?
I mean, it's important. Obviously, football comes first, but why not take advantage of it? I see a lot of guys and a lot of, I guess, trolls or whatever you could say. Worry about football. Don't worry about all this other stuff. And in my opinion, I say, why not? Take advantage of it. You guys and other podcasts or whatever. They take advantage. I'm not saying y'all take advantage, but y'all use athletes and use their names on y'all's, platforms yes. to boost you guys' platform or whatever. So I said, why not take advantage of it? And I'm not going too deep into it. I'm just, trying to get that social media up, name up. And, so hopefully at the next level, you never know, I come across a company or a business that, might want to work with me. And, that could turn into something. I don't know. But I'm just trying to take advantage of what I can, man. And obviously focus on football first. But yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, nobody's going to blame you for. I mean, the more visible you are, the more followers you are. That's what companies especially, are going to look at and see. And that's there's no shame in wanting to make money, man. I think that's what everybody's out here for.
Right. Exactly.
So what kind of goals do you got for Penn State? Like I mentioned, can't enroll early, but what kind of goals do you have to get ready for Penn State? What awaits you in the next 9 or so months before you arrive on campus?
Obviously, man, I'm trying to fight through this season. We're trying to, make the playoffs for McDonough, and we're trying to do what we can this year. But besides that, man, I'm just gonna keep training for defensive end, keep training for outside, because that's what John Scott and that team, that's what they want me at. But for Penn State, man, I think we could do a lot of things. Us coming off the loss against Iowa, that obviously hurt us in the polls or whatever, but I think we can. I think we can beat Ohio State. I think we can beat Michigan. I think we can beat Illinois. I don't see why we can't win the rest of our games. And I hope Clifford is good. And obviously that'd be a big help to Penn State's success. But yeah, man, I'm trying to finish this season off strong for me at McDonough my senior year, and then hopefully Penn State does their thing and they finish off strong as well.
Do you get much into the recruiting side of things? I know that you've got some guys in that class who are very vocal, trying to recruit other guys, trying to bring other guys in the fold, whether it's this class or the next. And obviously, you got some prospects, some teammates that have Penn State offers. Do you get much into that recruiting, that peer recruiting game? And how much did that play with you when other guys were trying to recruit you?
No, I don't get into it much, honestly. I've talked to a couple guys, Anto Saka, Leola Kid over from Maryland. I've talked to him. I've talked to a couple guys from this area, but outside of that, I don't really get into the recruiting too much because, in my opinion, it's not going to help. A lot of guys try to recruit me, and a lot of recruits that were Penn State commits before I committed try to recruit me, and other places try to recruit me, and it just never worked. I don't get too much into it. Obviously, I want the younger guys to come to Penn State, but I tell them the same thing that I told you earlier, that the older guys told me when I was a young guy. Do what's best for you, man. I can show you what Penn State is about. I can show you that they produce. I can show you that the coach's love for you. When you come up here, I can show you all of that. But if it's not the best place for you, then don't come here. If it is, then come here. So that's why I tell all the recruits, man. But the biggest recruit that I did want, I can honestly say, was Anto Saka, just because we came from the same area, same conference, and he's just a real genuine guy.
Yeah, he's a ball of energy as well. I think you guys just played Loyola Blakefield as well. If you're looking at that from that angle, you were in the Penn State group chat for. I mean, I talked to you in January. You said you were already in there in the group text amongst the commits. How was that, and how did you see that change in June when you took those visits, in July when you made that decision? What was it like, the process, the chain of events with those other commits?
Yeah, so I was in a group chat with Penn State, and I was also in a group chat with Georgia as well. So Penn State wasn't the only group chat that I was in, and honestly, I wasn't checking it too often. I would click in there, and those commits would be messing around and stuff, telling me they want me, and stuff like that. But not much changed. When I committed, they were obviously happy. They was like, "Man, we can't wait to get you up here." And when I took my visit, that was my first time meeting them, all of them commits and players in person. So that was a great time to meet them in person. But honestly, not too much change, man. And that wasn't a really big influence on me, on me making my decision to come to Penn State.
How do you get out of a group chat like that? You mentioned you were in the Georgia one. How does that come about?
I mean, you just leave. It happens all the time. We think we're getting a commit, and we think we're getting a prospect, and then all of a sudden his name just leaves. So it's like, well, we're not getting him.
Have you added anybody into that group chat lately?
I haven't added anybody, but I've seen multiple kids that we were think we're getting, and I think a DB a little while ago, he might have went to USC. I thought we were going to get him, but then all of a sudden his name just says so and so leaves the group chat. Yeah, just leaves the group chat.
So yeah, do you guys talk about us with the media and stuff like that in terms of how this is handled? Because I know this is something I've talked to you before about. Is you're kind of fascinated by you, because it's the first time we talked. You talked about our podcast and how you can, how that worked, and talked about we don't talk about rankings, but you talk about all that stuff. How much have you guys talked about that aspect of recruiting in addition to come to Penn State type recruiting?
Honestly, not that much. Yeah, I honestly not that much. I don't really have too much to say about that. The more times we talk, it gets deeper and deeper. So we talk about just football, what we plan to do, and then you might go deeper. Man, how's your family doing? How's y'all season going? So honestly, I don't see us talking too much about the media aspect, if I'm being honest.
That's quite all right. I'm actually glad to hear that. But what do you have? What do you have left to accomplish? You've got the All American game coming up. What do you have left to accomplish as a high school player before you sign, or I guess after you sign with Penn State?
Yeah, man. This upcoming game this week on Friday, we have Archbishop Spalding, a team from Severn. They're undefeated right now, so hopefully this game we can pull out. But man, I'm just trying to enjoy my senior year, man. I'm trying to make plays. This is my senior year. I gotta help our team win. Do what I can to get us in the playoffs, and hopefully, never know, we can possibly win it, man. But I'm just trying to help our young guys and enjoy my senior year, and then just after that, I got a lot of work to do if I really want to play early. A lot of training, a lot of watching film. So I got a lot of stuff to do. But right now, man, I'm just trying to enjoy my senior year and enjoy the young guys while I have them.
You've probably been asked this before, but I don't want to put you on the spot, but any crazy recruiting stories or anything like that? I know you didn't get to go on a ton of visits or anything of that nature, but was there anything about this process and you just sit back and you're like, wow, that's nuts or something like that?
Man. Yeah, you put me on the spot for sure. I can't really think of none right now. Obviously to say publicly, I can't really say too much. And it's not nothing, crazy, but I can't really think of none right now. You have to catch me at a different time to tell you a story or something.
All right, we'll get you at a different time. We appreciate you coming on the podcast, Dani. Check him out, Instagram at the Dani Dennis, all one word, and Twitter Dani Dennis 302. An ode to your Delaware roots, as you are a McDonough prospect, but you are from coastal Delaware. Not too many big time players coming out of that area.
Yeah, exactly, man. So that's why, I put Delaware in all my Instagram and Twitter and all that, so people know where I'm actually from and I can represent properly.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Dani. I really appreciate you coming on the show with us. Always great to work with McDonough prospects, and you're among the best that have come out of there. So thank you for joining us. I'm going to sign off now. For Tyler Donahue, this is Sean Fitz with the Lions247 Podcast. We'll catch you next episode.